welcome back to another video. And today's another segment of spilling the tea for the girlies. So this is kind of like a continuation of my last video, which is why I just like put on this black lace, because it's giving funeral, it's giving like death of us caring. Why? Because this video is all about emotional intelligence. So as always, we need to start with a definition. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage both your emotions and understand the emotions of people around you. Emotional intelligence is key to both personal and professional success. I like to think of myself as having emotional intelligence, but no, for real. It really does take work to have emotional intelligence because you need to understand your emotions and why you may act or react to certain things that people do to you. And I do feel like when you do this, you can then see yourself in other people, or you can see other people's emotions and decipher why they act a certain way too. And when you have this quality, this can make you a person that a lot of people come to for advice. And you would think that's a good thing, but it's not always a good thing. I've done a lot of growth, but I do feel like previously I used to get so invested in people's situations and how people felt, and I would just want to make things better for them. So I'd be like, let's talk about it, let's figure out what went wrong here, or why did you do this, why did you feel this way? And you do all of that, and sometimes people just don't listen. They don't listen. What is that saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. And it's the same thing with advice. You can give people advice, but that does not mean they have to take it. And why? Because we're all wired differently. We're all different. We all have to develop our own emotional intelligence for ourselves. Which is why sometimes it's best to just leave people and let them be. You can say your piece. I really do believe that knowledge is wealth. So if you know something, you should share it. You should help people, want to make them better. But after that, you're done here. You don't have to do anything else. Because the more energy that you put into things, the more energy that you take away from that situation yourself. And this can be exhausting, especially when people are doing the opposite of what you say. And it's hard because the more you tell them, the more you want to know, and the more you have to know to then help them again. And you become invested in these negative situations. And you constantly doing this does put a toll on you, and it creates something called compassion fatigue. Girlies, I know we have all experienced this in our friend groups, in our families, in our relationships, because it is just what we do best. We literally love to hear people's problems and give our 2 cents about it. Because we love to gossip. And you know why I know this? Because my good best friend sent me this tweet and I was like, oh my gosh, I have this. And she's like, we have this. I know you're wondering what that is. So let's get a definition. Compassion fatigue. It's emotional and physical burnout in our relationships. It happens over an extended period of time when we are there for other people without any emotional support. Girlies, I know we all have that friend that you constantly feed into, hoping that they'll change, hoping that they'll make better decisions, and they don't. And it literally is tiring. And I used to be the friend that just listens to everybody's situations and adds my 2 cents, and I'm riding for them like, you deserve better, you need to do better. But now I mind my business. Why? Because I have had compassion fatigue and I didn't even know it was a thing. But I'm happy I've been diagnosed. So let me share some of the signs so you can diagnose yourselves. Gotta give a shout out to Dr. Nicole LaPera, because she published a tweet that let us know about compassion fatigue and outlined all the cues and all the signs with steps. So if you're looking for a full tutorial, look up Dr. Nicole LaPera. So first sign is you're apathetic. And this is always the first cue, because you literally struggle to listen to these people about their problems because it's irritating. And you've heard it all before. It's just like a waste of breath to you. But also you know that you're re-listening to situations and you just feel helpless. And you're frustrated because you know there literally is nothing that you can do. And that leads us to the second sign, which is you're angry. You're angry because now you have to sit through these situations, you have to rehear all this stuff, but also because you know that nothing's gonna change, and it's like, why won't this person change? And now you're struggling to support them, and you're not that type of person. You want to be supportive. So it makes you angry that like they're changing you. And sometimes you even have the mentality that you're angry because you didn't do enough. Like maybe if you had said more or did more, then you guys wouldn't be in the situation. But now you feel like you just can't save them. Which brings us to the third sign. You're avoiding. When we get to step 3, we just don't want to link these people anymore. We don't want to see them because then they're going to bring up the topic that you don't want to hear about. You avoid the conversation. You avoid the topic of conversation, which is probably the people they're dealing with, because you just want to avoid this reality. But there is steps to bettering these situations. First step, you already know, set boundaries. In the tweet, Dr. LaPera says, you need to tell them to get professional help. Because you have literally been talking to them about their problems. You don't get paid by the hour. So at this point, you might as well direct them to some professional help who will literally sit and listen to their problems, and they can pay them to give them a solution. Hopefully one that they listen to. The second step is to take some space. This kind of goes hand in hand with avoiding them, but if you let them know that you cannot hear about this anymore, like, we do not need to talk about this, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, and we could just keep acting like nothing's happening, that's a healthier way of dealing with it than you just avoiding them completely. But taking space is also important because the light has been shined on them and their problems for so long that you need to think about what you're doing. Put that energy back into you rather than feeding into people who are stagnant, because their time will come. Let them process things on their own time. I promise you it will come. Maybe it's not now, but it'll come. And step 3 is just to know that relationships are reciprocal. If you are giving a lot of energy into this person and they're not giving you the same energy back, then you need to step away. You need to take time for yourself. Because at the end of the day, everything does play out on its own timeline, but you need to know when it's time for you to exit and when it's time for you to stay. I was just talking to one of my friends about this, but we talked about the fact that you can give a lot to a relationship and a friendship, and people are just there to receive it, but they don't actually give a lot back. And what is the point of having friendships when you are the one upkeeping the friendship? So in this situation, if you're just constantly hearing about people's lives, but they never really check in on you, and you're really involved in these people's lives because now you've given so much advice, you kind of want to see how it pans out, you gotta remove yourself. And honestly, you will see that they actually have to reflect on, hey, why is this person distancing themselves? Maybe I should check in. And if they don't, then you have your answer right there. Gotta go. So we're at the part of the video where I usually give you guys a cure, and there is one for this topic. And it's to examine what relationships are doing for you in your life. You need to understand their purpose and why you're in certain situations. Because if these people are really your friend and you do have emotional intelligence, you need to look at the positives and think, why did I experience this with my friend? Or why is my friend going through this, and maybe I can learn from it. And if you're supposed to be in those relationships, that's the mentality you need to bring if these people are truly your friend. Because you don't want to just kick your friend when they're down. And that's something that I had to learn, that because of my emotional intelligence, I had compassion fatigue, but it's because I cared about these people. And that's something that you can't forget, because human connections are very important. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm preaching. But human connections are actually very important. And if you have good friends in your life, don't take that for granted. Good friendships last, and they are beneficial for you and your life, and also beneficial for the other party. So if that relationship means something to you, maybe take these steps, fall back a little bit, but understand that if that person's your friend, you should be there for them, and think about the positive ways that you can do that. It's all about releasing the negative and looking at the bright side. So cheers to that. That's the end of the video, guys, but you guys know the drill. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below any video ideas you guys have for me, because I will do them. And always, I'll see you in the next one.